Being friends with you was never second best. I saw the world crashing all around your face.
MiamiRollerDerby.com, in conjunction with 247Miami.tv, is proud to present Rink Rash Radio. 60 minutes of everything roller derby in the 305. Visit MiamiRollerDerby.com for more information on upcoming bouts and events. And now, Rink Rash Radio.
Welcome to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Wilma Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Ann Gurr.
And we're from Miami's Vice City Rollers. Welcome. We have special guests today, and we're excited because it is Valentine's Day. So, yay! It is a labor of love in the derby world today. What's going on in Miami Roller Derby? We have a special bout coming up next weekend. That's Saturday, February 21st. It is another doubleheader, which means you get 2 games for the price of 1. That's 2 games for the price of 1. All the derby. It's the juniors team, the Miami's Little Misdemeanors versus the Lucky Stars, which are from Pinellas County Junior Derby, and followed by Miami's Vice City Rollers versus the Rolling Valkyries from Revolution Roller Derby. And we're excited because we're actually going to have a couple of guests from the Rolling Valkyries, Suki Seidel and her husband, Duchess, who are going to be talking about their labor of love in the derby world. And
that name, Duchess, that's like a boy named Sue. he's daring you to call him out.
There is a story behind that, and we will get to it.
There has to be.
Maybe he just wants to feel pretty.
Don't we all? I know I do.
So we do have a special promotion today. Tune in and tweet us why you love roller derby and get free tickets to the next bout. Tweet us at Rink Rash Radio. Why do you love roller derby? Hashtag Derby Love. And the first 10 people to tweet us get free tickets.
Yes.
So tweet us, Rink Rash Radio. We also have a couple of other events coming up. We're going to be doing our first ever Bay Skate, which is on Thursday, February 26th at Bayfront Park from 5 to 11 p.m. It's a free event, and it's supporting public parks. It's building a community and combines roller skates with music. You can't go wrong with that. General admission is from 5 to 7, and adult skates from 7:30 to 11 o'clock. So we'll be there on skates, representing the local community and representing Miami's Vice City Rollers. So you can join us Thursday, February 26th. That's Bay Skate at the Bayfront Park. And we also have Sprung Beer Fest, because roller derby and beer go together.
Wait, so who said beer?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Free beer tastings. One of the biggest, one of the 2 biggest events, beer festivals. It's Grovetoberfest and Sprung Beer Fest, and we will be there at Sprung Beer Fest. It is March 7th. We'll be there from 2:30 to 7 p.m. That's in the Grove in Peacock Park, and you can find them on social media at I Got Sprung. So come check us out if you're gonna be at the Sprung Beer Fest on March 7th. We will have a table. Come see us. We do have some baked goods. We have like these awesome pretzel necklaces, which are really great when you kind of had a couple of drinks and you need to just kind of sober up a little bit. They're about $1 each.
Just want something to eat.
Just something to snack on, and it's convenient because it's right around your neck, and all you got to do is snack on some pretzels.
It's food you can wear.
Exactly. So, yep, we got a bout next weekend, the February 21st. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. Juniors at 6 o'clock, followed by the main event at 8 p.m. with 2 hours of pre-game talk by 24/7 Miami George of the George West Show.
That's me.
We'll be talking to our skaters. I'll be there as well, and we're also going to be interviewing some of the Rolling Valkyries and kind of just talking about derby and what we love about it. And we catching a live feed of the game of the main event.
I'm really excited about that because we've got Thomas Cole is coming up. He helped me call the game last night and kind of took me to derby school. What
did you learn about derby last time?
I learned a lot, as to how the game is played, and more specifically how to call it. To what the jammer does and some of the strategies that are going on, and why the lead jammer would end early.
So why does the lead jammer end early?
To strategically deny the other team the ability to score points.
Excellent.
I believe it's called hit it and quit it.
Hashtag hit it and quit it.
That's a t-shirt. But yeah, Thomas was fantastic. I mean, he really knows the sport. Now, I'm great for color and commentary and jokes and that kind of thing. But I mean, he really knows the sport. He's going to give you some insight as to some of the strategies from both teams. You know, the things that you're not going to get. Will the Thrill's great. Don't get me wrong, but he's the stadium announcer. He can't give away the other team's strategy during the game where everybody can hear it. Exactly. Whereas us on the website, you players can't hear us. You have no idea what we're saying and what's going on. So you get a way more in-depth coverage of the game, of the bout, of what's actually happening. Now, that's not to say that you are excused in any way from showing your butt up down to the Sunnyland Hockey Rink and supporting Miami Vice City Rollers. So, but if you can't make it, Granny's sick, you're homebound, get that TuneIn app, 247miami.tv. Tune in at 6 o'clock, the 21st of February, and you get 2 hours of pre-bout coverage. That's going to be me and you.
Yes.
And we're going to be interviewing some of the Vice City Rollers. We're going to be interviewing some of the Rolling Valkyries, and I imagine they're going to be a whole crew. You're going to have the mom and pop militia folks are going to be down there. They've got like 4 roller derby teams underneath the.
So underneath the Revolution roller derby umbrella, they have the Rolling Valkyries, which is their women's team.
That's the headline.
That's and then they have they recently started their co-ed team, which is the mom and pop.
Seeing more and more of that.
Yeah, it's really happening a lot more.
The little misdemeanors who are now going to have to change their name
to co-ed.
Yeah,
Miami Junior roller derby because we're going co-ed too. We have a lot more boys.
Need a tougher name.
Miami Junior roller derby.
I don't know. I'm working on it. The brain is spinning.
Make a t-shirt.
Something. right now we need a name. We need a brand.
And that's actually, it's really interesting because I think co-ed roller derby is challenging. It's fun. And it just brings people together even more so, and it builds more of a community. Because how awesome is it to have your boyfriend skating with you or your girlfriend?
I will never know.
Or your best friend.
What do you mean you'll never know? You never know if you'll never know.
At 42 years old, I'm a confirmed dyed-in-the-wool heterosexual. Never had a boyfriend. Don't want one. No, not judging.
Maybe Kathy will come on some skates, and then
she's got him. She's got him. And she keeps threatening.
She's one step away.
She keeps threatening. I guess you guys aren't recruiting hard enough.
Well, we'll get there.
Didn't I just throw that right back at you?
After party. At the after party. Well, so what's going on in Derby around Florida?
Well, tomorrow we've got the Jacksonville Roller Girls. They are hosting their own 3rd annual Mashup Madness scrimmage. So
Mashup Madness.
Yeah. So they have their New Jack City Rollers, and they're going to have a juniors and a co-ed bout.
Okay.
As well as a women's bout. So it's going to be
how much derby?
3 games. No, I'm sorry. Actually, it's going to be 4 women's games, a junior bout, and a co-ed bout.
That's crazy.
So that's 6 games. $5 for spectators.
I want to be there.
That's less than $1 a game.
I know.
That's a lot of roller derby.
All day tomorrow. It starts at 10 a.m. We're going to have more of this info on our new blog.
Yes.
It'll
go to 247miami.com. Find us, Rink Rash Radio. .tv.
247miami.tv.
My bad.
And all the info for all of this will be up there.
We'll put them some links.
Yeah.
So you can
find them. Sausage links, but links that are going to take you where you want to go.
Exactly.
All those sausage links are good.
They're good.
I'm hungry.
Only certain types of sausage. Not all kinds of sausage.
Let's not even get into the kielbasa and bratwurst and blood sausage and all that.
Blood sausage even.
Yeah, that's the Argentinian
stuff.
That
is the Argentinian stuff. I can't do that stuff.
I think it was created on a dare. Pretty sure. That's some nasty stuff.
I can't do it. So besides blood sausage, what else do we got?
So next Saturday, same day as our game, but come to our game.
Why are you promoting it then?
We're just this is roller derby around Florida.
You can't make it, if like for some reason it's a little too much. But come to
Papa Derby over here. I'm hey, this is about what we got going on. Yeah? But in the interest of serving the greater roller derby community,
exactly.
I digress. You guys know how I'm big on the greater roller derby community. We had a conversation earlier.
Yes.
That we'll talk about in another show.
Okay.
So the Tampa Tantrums are hosting
Awesome
a
name.
boot camp. So some of their best players are going to be teaching you awesome drills and awesome new skills. It is for all skill levels, including juniors ages 8 to 18. And they're going to have scrimmages at the end, a junior scrimmage and a regular scrimmage. So if you want to sign up for that, it's $50, includes lunch and snacks and all the goodies that come with it. And if you just want to spectate, $5. I mean, how great is that?
Derby.
$5 just
$5.
watch Derby.
Can't go wrong. What else we got?
So next is the All City Rollers. Their team, the Honeys, are
The Honeys.
The Honeys. They're going to take on the Jacksonville Roller Girls, the J Villains, on at 6 p.m. And tickets are 10 at the door, 8 in advance if you want to talk to them. The Molly Roger Roller Girls, which we played recently.
Yes, that was our very first bout of the year. Molly Roger Roller Girls.
Great team, great match. That
Seriously.
one, wow. The last like 10 minutes of that bout.
Intense, right?
Intense, edge of your seat.
Everybody
2 or
was
3
standing.
points difference that would just back and forth between each jam. And the Vice City Rollers were able to really pull it out at the end and take the W.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I had Danny Garcia, and this guy is, he's sports producer. He's worked with Michael Irving. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's pinnacle. He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt. He was super impressed with the sport, and
what did he say?
He was how easily it is to pick up and learn, and how exciting it is. And I guess the biggest thing he was saying was that because it's so grassroots,
right?
There's you get into the NBA or any other professional sport, there's a lot of money involved. I mean, a lot of money. So there's all different kinds of motivations for why people want to be there. I'm just here so I don't get fined, as an example. Okay, we don't have that in roller derby. This is truly, truly, truly a labor of love. Everybody who is involved with the sport and this is the love in my heart that generates and radiates out to the whole roller derby world. It's real.
Right.
There's nobody who's motivated by being here that they're going to get an endorsement contract.
Right.
Or, they're playing derby because they want to play derby.
Exactly.
And the people who are involved with it are involved with it because, what I've called before, and I'll call it again, it's the tribe. That's what sucked me in, was the tribe.
All you need is a little taste of the derby, and it pulls you in, and you become addicted, and you want to see it more and more.
You said this, Inger. It kind of, you just wake up one morning and it's taken over.
Yeah, and basically you see people and you're just like, all I want to do is talk derby and see derby people and do derby things, and if we're not doing that, then I'm kind of just not happy.
Yeah. It's
well, and I think a lot of that is because you get so much out of it that you want to put back into it. So all right, so
the Molly Roger
Roller Girls,
they're hosting their first home game of the season.
Okay.
They're going to play Team Zebra, followed by a co-ed open scrimmage.
Awesome. So we do have some special guests today. Valentine's Day, a power couple on next on this Valentine's Day, talking about their labor of love, Sookie Seidel and Duchess. Stay tuned before the fresh meat gets rotten. Can you say your ABCs, please?
A, B, wait, sing them? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
Five skaters, four skaters. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
Welcome back to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Anger.
And we're from Miami's Vice City Rollers. We do have a special promotion today. Tweet us at Rink Rash Radio and tell us why you love roller derby. Hashtag Derby Love. And we'll give you free tickets to our next bout. Our next bout is next Saturday, February 21st. Doors open at 5:30. 2 for 1. We got the juniors team, Miami's Little Misdemeanors, versus Pinellas County Junior Derby's The Lucky Stars, followed by Miami's Vice City Rollers at 8 o'clock, the main event, versus the Rolling Valkyries from Revolution Roller Derby. And with us today, we have special guests, Suki Seidel and Duchess. Suki, Duchess.
Hello.
Welcome. We're so excited to have you guys on. It is a true derby labor of love. Suki Seidel skates with the Rolling Valkyries.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the president of the league.
Yep.
And she coaches, along with her husband, Duchess, the Pinellas County Junior Derby team as well. Duchess plays with Tampa Bay Men's Roller Derby. And he's a head ref as well for Revolution Roller Derby. So we have them on today. On this special Valentine's Day, we thought it was perfect to have this amazing power couple on the show. So welcome.
Thank you for having us.
No, of course.
All right. Well, let's start off with something pretty simple here. Suki Seidel. Where does that name come from?
Duchess actually named me. When I first started playing roller derby, I wanted to be something a little bit angrier or meaner. I was like, I want to be like Veronica Barracuda or Svetlana Piranha. And he's like, no, it just doesn't fit you. And so we were just like trying to like wrap our brains around it. And so I was a intake counselor at a psychiatric facility for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And I practiced Baker Act, which is the involuntary stays in Florida. And
I'm very familiar with it.
Very familiar with it.
Most of my patients were suicidal. So he said, Duchess said, why don't you just do something like that? Because, it's like your other side. And he's like, that will help integrate, your two little lives. And, roller derby, you get your, like your superhero persona, the other side of you. Don't know.
Exactly.
So he said, be Susie Seidel. And I was like, no, I'm not a Susie,
You're a Suki.
I'm a Suki. Well, on the
Suki now. Sorry, I had to. I loved it. I fell
in love with it, and so I adopted it, and I took on BA 52 as my number because.
And what's BA 52 again?
That's the statute for. Well, it's actually the act that they give a 3-day involuntary stay. They have a bunch of different Baker Acts. It's Baker Act 52, Baker Act 3032, which will keep you there a lot longer.
Interesting. So BA 52 is your number, which stands for the Baker Act.
Right.
Because you're a social worker and you've worked with suicidal patients before. So that's an interesting combination between, having to work with with these patients and then, going on the track and, kind of letting that aggression out, letting that frustration out and being able to do something so totally different from what you do on a day-to-day.
Yes.
And
you just saw horrible things. So it just helps to get all that negative energy out in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Not like hitting a positive thing, but roller derby definitely changed my life.
I love that. We'll quote you on that. And inquiring minds want to know, Duchess.
And us too.
Why Duchess? I mean, you've got this badass sport and you've got a guy who is a roller derby skater and his name is Duchess. Why?
Well, when I was getting into it, there was a TV show called Archer. It's a pretty good show. It's very, very witty. The H. John Benjamin does the voice of the character on there, Sterling Archer. And I would watch the show with Suki, and there was a lot of similarities between me and Archer. Just a lot of things that he would say. He likes to say danger zone a lot. And yes, and Duchess is his code name. When he would go out and have to be, a spy and stuff. So Duchess was his code name. So I thought that it was kind of a very, unique way of, naming myself, especially when I had guys on my team with names like Bulk Hogan or, Punisher, Hugh Hefner, these very tough beast mode.
Hugh Hefner.
So I thought it would be very funny when they come out to introduce us all. They have all these tough guys, and then they're like, "Oh, and Duchess."
I totally called it as a boy named Sue kind of thing. That you're looking for somebody to Duchess, huh? Yeah, get to know me.
Yeah. People look at me and they're like, "Well, this is kind of a big guy. Why would why? I want people to be a little bit underestimate me too. They hear the name Duchess and they don't think I'll go out there and do a really good job. I won't hit very hard. But once I hit them, they understand that that's just the name." And I'm actually a pretty hard hitter too.
That's phenomenal. Well, okay, so it's Valentine's Day, and the obvious question: how'd you guys meet?
We met through a mutual friend of mine. I was getting a lot of tattoos and a lot of piercings at the time, and one of the piercers I knew, he had known Suki as well, so he introduced us.
Let's be honest, I had to do some community service. So I met one of Tom's criminal friends, and I just didn't want to date him. And then I met Tom, and I was like, I'm not going to date you, but I'm going to date your friends.
Nice. What was the first date?
I asked her to come over one night for dinner. I was pretty poor at the time, so I didn't really have much money to take her out.
I wrote that country song. I used to do that all the time before I got married. That's I know that, man. I know where your head is.
Being able to cook a dinner for a woman, I learned when I was, growing up that, a woman likes seeing you cook the food in front of her, showing that, you care about her. You want to, let her know how much you like her and stuff. So I had her over. I made some chicken parmesan.
Chicken parmesan. Yeah.
From scratch, I made I got the chicken fillets, I cut them all up, and I pounded them all out. So
he even cleaned his apartment that day.
Oh,
that's how you know it's serious, ladies.
He
cleans
and cooked.
Wow, and you're a special lady when they clean and cook.
Yeah, exactly. And did he clean the dishes after?
You don't do that. You put them in the sink and leave that wait for later.
Because I had, I wanted to spend time with her. I wanted to, hang out with her. And she came over, and like I said, I was getting a whole bunch of tattoos at the time. I had just started to sleeve on my right arm, and it was all Star Wars characters, Boba Fett, Yoda, that kind of stuff. She had never seen Star Wars, and so she wanted to know why. Yeah.
You should see George's face right now. He's shocked.
My face right now.
She was 28 almost, and she had never seen Star Wars, and so
tell me you corrected that immediately. Tell me you corrected it immediately.
Well, yes, she said to me, "I want to know why you want to get your body tattooed up about these movies. So let's watch these movies."
That's a girl right there.
You're doing God's work, sir.
We wanted to start watching the first movie, A New Hope. So we started watching that. And she actually had, would ask me questions, and she was interested in knowing what was, going on in the movie.
Oh yeah, and now our entire house is filled with Star Wars paraphernalia.
That's exactly how it starts.
We have a life-size statue of Yoda.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Wow,
can I live there?
You guys are the most awesome couple ever. I seriously, I just want to throw up little pink bears riding around in little cars right now. It's so cute.
So
our dog's name is actually Chewbacca. That's how I got him to buy the dog.
Dog's name is Chewbacca. That's classic. That's amazing.
Yeah, about 2 months after we started dating, she told me she wanted a dog, and I said, "I'll get a dog any kind you want. Just it can't be a pit bull. I don't want a pit bull." And so she had one from her work. It was a brown and red boxer, and so we went and go pick him up. And as we're picking him up, I asked the lady, I'm like, no, he's a boxer mix. What kind of mix is he? She's like, oh, he's a boxer pit bull mix. And I told the girl, I said, Candace, Suki, I'm like, what are you doing? I said, no pit bulls. But he was so cute and so adorable, and he looked just like Chewbacca. I couldn't say no.
Perfect. A match made in heaven. So,
pit bulls are underestimated.
Yeah. Suki, how'd you get into Derby?
Huh.
Wasn't that, did you guys get into it together?
No, not at all. I took that fall by myself for a little while. We actually went on a date after we had started dating for a little while, and he took me to the roller derby. And I fell in love with it like that. I think I was there for 5 minutes, if that, and I was just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to play.
Yeah.
And did you know, Tom? Did you know that I was actually going to do it?
I knew she wanted to. We lived kind of far away, about an hour away from where they practiced at. So I knew she wanted to, but I didn't know if he would be able to, just with the distance and with the just starting together.
No, I don't think so. I was very fond of pizza and beer. Okay. I had a lot of extra pizza and beer on my body. So, and I just started losing weight like slowly because I knew I wasn't going to be able to go. And because when I first started, there wasn't as many teams as there are now. So you had to try out. And if they thought that you had what it took to train, they would pick you up and start training you.
Right.
So, I couldn't do that right away. So I bought a cheapy pair of skates and literally just started skating around my neighborhood, started doing my dishes in roller skates, started skating in the house.
Nice.
Started losing weight, and then I went and tried out. And the first year was really tough because I couldn't skate like at all.
Right. And we will definitely continue this story in the next segment. Guys, if you want to meet them, Suki Seidel and Duchess at our next bout, February 21st, tweet us for a chance to win a free ticket to the game.
First
10 people to tweet us. Tell us why you love Derby, #DerbyLove, and get a free ticket. The phone call that changed everything, why Suki came back, and what made Duchess commit to Derby. Tune in.
Lord, I question whether I can take much more. You may laugh as I lay you bleeding, baby.
You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
Welcome back to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Ann Gray.
And we're from Miami's Vice City Rollers. And we're here talking to Suki Seidel and Duchess. Suki Seidel's from the Rolling Valkyries of Revolution Roller Derby. Duchess skates for Tampa Bay Men's Roller Derby, and they are a power couple. And if you want to meet them, they're going to be at our next bout. That's next Saturday, February 21st. Doors open at 5:30. First game is the juniors. That's Miami's Little Misdemeanors versus Pinellas County's The Lucky Stars. Followed by the main event at 8 o'clock. That's the women's team, Miami's Vice City Rollers versus the Rolling Valkyries. And we are doing a special promotion today. Tweet us at Rink Rash Radio. Tell us what you love about roller derby. Hashtag Derby Love. First 10 people to tweet us do get free tickets. So we're on the phone with Suki Seidel and Duchess. And we were talking about, Suki, we were talking about your experience in Derby and how you got into Derby and some of the challenges that you may have come across the way. Did you ever feel like quitting?
All the time. Derby is hard. Everybody makes it look so like easy and effortless, you know? And I had bad pads. I didn't know much about equipment. So my knees were bruised. My shins were bruised. My ankles were bruised. My elbows were bruised. My ego was bruised.
That's the worst one.
Yeah, I would crawl home after practice some nights and just cry or just not think that I'm going to go back, you know? And
what made it so challenging?
Well, I mean, you just think, you fall down, you get back up. You fall down, you get back up. I didn't know how to skate at all. So I was on the floor more than I was on my wheels. And, you see everyone getting better around you. And if you don't skate, you don't understand that it takes everyone a different amount of time to learn how to play. It's not something that you can just say, okay, we'll do this and this and this, and you're able to do it.
Exactly.
Actually, I do want to ask your opinion and advice on something, because we do have a skater, and she posted on one of the Fresh Meat groups today that she's been training for about a year in Fresh Meat, and she's trying to get over that mental challenge of seeing other skaters surpass her, and trying to and she's training, and she's just not where she wants to be. She's pulling herself out of drills because of the physical and mental challenge. What's your advice as someone who's gone through this and knows what it feels like to come home crying and frustrated because you can't, you're not where you want to be?
You have to go through that in any part of life. You have to go through the defeat in order to taste the glory. What I did to get over it was, I would set small goals for myself. I had to remind myself that I couldn't compare myself to other people because they had different experiences with skating. And I grew up as a ballet dancer. So surprise. But I held my weight entirely different than most skaters did. So it took me a lot longer to be able to adjust how I held my weight. So I was they call it crotch heavy, because when you're a dancer, they teach you to hold all of your body weight.
I have that same problem.
Don't mind him.
You just start, you don't compare yourself to anybody, and you set small goals for yourself. And that's what I did. And I started trail skating by myself because I didn't need to compare myself to anybody else out there doing it by myself. And I knew I was going to face the ground, and I knew I was going to hit the ground. And I figured, well, you're only going to hit the ground, 1,000 times before you finally learn it.
Right.
So let's start now, with, fall number 2, fall number 3, fall number 4. And then guess what? By fall number 400, I kind of got it.
And so what, Duchess, what did you see her go through during this time?
Well, at that time she was she would come home and she would be really upset. She'd be crying a lot of times because she would just be upset that she wasn't.
I was in pain.
Well, she was in a lot of pain. I did see all of her bruises. I would give her the bags of peas to put on her knees and help her out, but I really didn't, see the fun part of roller derby yet. I didn't understand why people would want to get out there all hot and sweaty and want to knock each other around. It really didn't look like fun to me yet. So I I would go to a few of the bouts with her. I would go to sometimes to practice with her. About probably 6 months after she bought her Riddell Vixens, I ended up buying a pair myself.
Mm-hmm.
That pair of Riddell Vixens I had, they really weren't for me to skate in. They were really just the spare parts for Suki to get stuff off of.
Nice.
Not bad to have her own.
She take my wheel, she use toe stops, she take my toe stops.
She wasn't using them.
and Suki, there was a point where you had decided that you wanted to do something else.
Yes, I wanted to learn how to sail because I'm going to be a pirate when I grow up.
That's a good thing to be.
Right?
She already has the rum down pat, let me tell you.
So I decided to stop playing roller derby, and I finished up the season. And so from January until March, I sailed wonderfully on my couch with my rum and pizza.
And you had been playing for the Tampa team up until this time, correct?
At that time, that was the only team in our area that I even knew about.
Tell us about the phone call you got one fateful day.
Well,
after 3 months of sailing on your couch.
I really was sitting on the couch when she called, and I had some pizza and rum, and they said,
pizza
hey,
and rum.
Hey, you know,
pirate.
So they said, hey, why don't you come out and play with us they had their inaugural ball for this team, Revolution Roller Derby. And I'm like, I don't know. I quit. I'm really out of shape now. I was like, I wasn't ever really that good. And they're like, yes, you were. What are you talking about? And I'm like, they're just buttering me up to try to come and make me play. But it worked. It worked. I took all their flattery, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll come back to practice. And so I went to practice, and I met Rose. Oh, boy.
Dizzy Boots, who we had on the show last week, actually. Fantastic woman.
Is a force of nature. She is something else. Not only is she, like, you can just see her sparkle when she walks into a room. I mean, she's just like, I love you. You have great form. Oh, you're going to do so well here. I'm like, I didn't say I was joining. And she's like, yeah, all right, girl. And then she starts laughing. And,
we did get a reference that we were like Jehovah's Witnesses because we get people and we were like, join us, won't you? One of us.
Well, you know, something funny, actually. I grew up with Jehovah's Witnesses.
No.
Yeah.
So you know.
I was born and raised one. I actually went to their world headquarters. I lived up there. I took a vow of poverty, and I lived in Brooklyn, New York for 2 years.
Whoa.
For the Jehovah's Witnesses. I was an ordained minister for 5 years. And I would go knock on doors at least 90 hours a month and try to get people to convert to witnesses.
Wow.
Then I came back and I went to college and I started, smoking cigarettes and having friends that weren't Jehovah's Witnesses. And they decided that was too much for them and they kicked me out.
Wow. Well, hold that thought. We have to take a break. If you want to meet Suki and Duchess, come watch our bout. Saturday, February 21st. That's next week. Doors open at 5:30. Tickets are $10 in advance. $12 at the door. Doubleheader, 2 for 1. Tune in to Rink Rash Radio.
Can't turn away.
show before the fresh meat gets rotten. You're listening to Rink Rash Radio on 247miami.tv.
Welcome back to Rink Rash Radio. I'm your host, Wilma Shakespeare.
And I'm your co-host, Ann Gurr.
And we're from Miami's Vice City Rollers. Welcome back to the show. We've got special guest Suki Seidel from the Rolling Valkyries of Revolution Roller Derby, who are coming down next weekend, Saturday, February 21st. Doors open at 5:30. Game starts at 6 o'clock with our juniors, so it's a 2-for-1 deal, and followed by Miami's Vice City Roller versus the Rolling Valkyries. We also have her special significant other, Duchess, who plays for Tampa Bay Men's Roller Derby, and he's also the head ref for the Rolling Valkyries. And on top of that, they both coach their junior team, the Pinellas County Junior Derby. So they do a lot for Derby, and we're here talking about their labor of love. Meet them next weekend. Tweet us if you want free tickets. The first 10 people to tweet us at Rink Rash Radio. Tell us why you love roller derby. Hashtag Derby Love. You get free tickets. Last segment, we were talking about a fateful phone call that Suki Seidel received from Dizzy Boots, the founder of Revolution Roller Derby. And we were talking about how they got her to join after a break from roller derby to go sailing. Suki, so you talked to Rosie. Or to Rose, I'm sorry. And what did she tell you? How did she get you back on?
Well, I didn't know Rose when she called. I knew her through a mutual friend that also played with Tampa, and she was just so vivacious, and you can't exactly tell this no. There is no telling her no. I mean, you can tell her no. She doesn't take your answer as yes. So I started practicing with them, and the more I got to know her, the more I started seeing a different side of Derby. I started seeing she had fresh ideas. She was very encouraging and wanting to teach everybody and really push Derby into the community and really get Derby recognized in the community. And I loved that. You know, I loved that she wanted to go out there and empower people and help make them feel good about themselves through learning Derby. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things that I learned going through that first year that was so hard for me. That, you know, anything that's really worth doing is usually not very easy at first.
Right.
With her support and encouragement, I started growing more as a skater. I started going to more practices. I started working a little extra hard just because I knew that she was going to be there. You know, she was super supportive. I mean, I knew Duchess was going to be there for me. But this was a different type of support. Mm-hmm. It was like a sisterhood type of support.
Exactly.
And the more I got to know the players on her team, I started seeing that they were all like sisters, you know, like they all wanted to see the best in each other. They wanted to bring out the best in each other. And they didn't talk very negative about each other, and they don't allow words like can't or hate or any of that kind of stuff at practice. So,
if you said you hate something, you had to say 3 things you like about whatever you just hate.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I like that. That's really cool.
So, it was through that support that I started growing, as a skater, and I started feeling more empowered, and I started wanting to skate more. And that's when I started really seeing the fun side of Derby. So that's also when I started bringing home some MVPs, and then somebody else here decided that, oh, well, you know, it might be fun after all.
And so, Duchess, how'd you get involved around this time?
Well, like you said, you know, she was up there with the Valkyries, and she came home in a lot better mood, you know, the second time around with another team. She was out there, you know, being a leader with those girls. I would go to about here and there, and she was taking 8 to 14 alpha females, and she was out to the track with them, and she was leading them. And it was actually to be able to watch her do that. You know, I hadn't seen Suki in that light before as a leader. So I'm really impressed. And she was getting really good out there on the track and getting MVP. So they needed a bench coach. So I started coming around and bench coaching for them. Now, it wasn't really easy sitting there and trying to yell at all these alpha females telling them they had to shut up and get out there and play derby. But,
I bet.
And it made it a little more difficult because I didn't skate. You know, I didn't understand what was going on with derby. I didn't understand, why I would want a power line out there or why I'd want that certain blocker out there. Right. So decided that, if I'm going to do this, I really need to start coming to practice with the Valkyries. And so I started going to practices, and, we would go there and I would learn things. And they said, well, we need you to be a referee. I said, okay, I'll learn to be a referee. And this is, August, September of 2013.
Okay.
And so I would practice for a couple months, and I'd be out there, hitting them, and doing hitting drills. And I was like, this is a lot more fun doing the hitting.
Go figure.
Usually is.
Pointing at people. Not that I didn't want to referee, but I also wanted to play. So I learned about the NCAA men's roller derby. I knew a couple guys over there. I'd met them through mutual friends and stuff. And I told Suki one night, I said, I'm going to start going to NCAA men's roller derby practices. And, she looked at me and she kind of had a little glint in her eye, kind of, laughing at me. She didn't think I was going to really go through with it.
I didn't.
2 practices and give up because I really didn't have the best track record about completing things at the time. So I decided though that if Suki could do it and make it a go of it, I was going to prove to her that I could do it too.
Nice.
Whatever. He just is better than me. Ultimate goal. Have more MVPs than I have.
Well, any good relationship, you push each other and you want to make each other better. So yeah, I wanted to be here too. I wanted to impress her. I wanted her to see that not only was I a good friend to her, but I was also, a good skater as well, because it was important to her. So I wanted to be good at something that was important to her.
How would you say Derby has strengthened you as a couple?
It's really taught us how to hit the hell out of each other.
Hey,
Sometimes
there's
you
a
need
place
that.
for that too.
And, when the officer pulls us over and he sees the bruises on each other, he can't, take us to jail. That's always nice.
No, seriously. I guess we both are now looked at as leaders. I think that's helped increase his confidence, and it's helped him take more of. He's been more ambitious and more wanting to face the future without any hesitation. Derby, when you fall and get knocked down, you can't just lay there. You have to get back up, and that's kind of like a metaphor for life. And so in that way, it strengthens our relationship. Like we're going to stumble along the way. We're going to fall down. Things are going to hurt, but we're not just going to lay there and take it. We're going to get back up and we're going to continue to, persevere and go through the things together and because of it.
And both being, we're both trainers for the Valkyries. We're both coaches for the, the juniors team. Last year, she was captain of the Valkyries. This year, I'm also captain of our new co-ed team. You have to learn how to work, not just as a couple when you're in front of all those people, but also, you have to learn how to work as a trainer. You have to put on different hats.
Right.
So while, as husband Duchess, my wife Suki, I may be mad at her for something she said to me before we came to practice. I had to put that aside and make sure I'm being a good coach and a good trainer, and not, being an asshole to her when we're out there practicing. And it's vice versa. We learn different dynamics and how we can, work with one another.
That's right. Hold that thought, Duchess. We do have to take a break, and we'll be right back. Tune in to Rink Rash Radio.